Good morning. I'm glad to see all these bright, shiny faces this morning. I am Sheriff Mike Atkinson, and this is your FirstNet Authority Board and Committee meeting. I am currently the acting vice chair and acting chair of the FirstNet Authority. I'm taking over for former acting chair Renee Gordon. Renee recently completed her term, and we want to take a moment to acknowledge her contribution to the FirstNet Authority, her hard work, dedication, and a great attitude in trying to do this and carry out this mission in a manner that is consistent with her level of professionalism. So we certainly want to thank Renee again for everything that she has done serving public safety and the FirstNet Authority. This morning, we're going to do a couple of things. This is a combined meeting, and we will have our Public Safety Advocacy Committee here with Chief Lombardo. We're going to turn that over to him in just a second. But before we do that, I want to ask Ms. Watts if she will take the roll. Let's make sure that we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I will mark you as present. Billy Bob Brown Jr.,
Present.
Mark Calabria, Damon Darcy,
Present.
Alexandra Fernandez Navarro,
Present.
Eric Gall,
Present.
Sean McDevitt,
Present.
Warren Mickens,
Present.
Jocelyn Moore,
Present.
Jeffrey Norman,
Present.
Rashid Scarlett,
Present.
Tricia Wolford.
Present.
Chair, we do have a quorum for the board as well as for all four committees. Now I will read the conflict statement. Prior to participating in the FirstNet Authority Combined Board and Committees meeting today, the board members have reviewed the agenda as well as the conflict of interest guidance provided by the Ethics Law and Program Division of the Department of Commerce Office of General Counsel regarding the conflict of interest standards that apply to the board members. All board members have responded prior to today's meeting that they do not have a conflict and will not need to recuse themselves from participation in any portion of this meeting.
Very good. And I would also be remiss if I didn't welcome those who are joining us online here we're physically in Reston, Virginia, but we know many of you may be dialing in from other locations. And that just showed my age that I said dialing in. Certainly there's a euphemism that'll be lost in a couple of years, I'm sure. We're also going to have committee reports from our individual committee chairs as well. But before you board, you have minutes from the previous meetings. And so I would ask if there is a motion if you've had the opportunity to read these minutes and approve them, I would ask there would be a motion to accept.
Sheriff, is Damon Darcy. I make a motion to accept.
Very good. A second?
This is Warren Mickens. I second the motion.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed? Okay, outstanding. So the August meeting are now accepted. Madam Secretary, please take the minutes available to the public following the meeting. And at this point, we're going to turn this over to Chief Lombard, who will give us a Public Safety Committee Advocacy Committee update.
Thank you very much, Sheriff. I, on behalf of the PSAC and myself, would like to also congratulate you on moving into this new role, and we wish you all the best, and we'll look forward to working with you. With that, we'd also like to recognize, again, both me personally and on behalf of the PSAC, Renee Gordon's service and her support for the PSAC and all that she did in her tenure in that role, through some very confusing and trying times, kind of keeping the ship going in the right direction. Next slide, please. As you know, the PSAC held its in-person meeting in conjunction with the 5x5 conference in Seattle in June. Many of you were there, and we thank you for coming out to Seattle and participating in the PSAC meetings. We received at that meeting a very informative leadership update from FirstNet AT&T, as well as an investment update from the FirstNet Authority. At our bi-monthly meetings in August, virtual meetings, we had report outs from individual PSAC members who have engaged with the FirstNet Authority on coverage enhancement workshops, specifically in New York, California, and Florida. Excuse me. We also received an in-depth briefing from FirstNet Authority on pre-planned event support. Several of our tribal advisory group members also attended 5x5 in June, which we were very encouraged by that, to see them starting to engage in some of the bigger PSAC events. They engaged with both the FirstNet Authority leadership, public safety leaders from across the nation. I'm pleased to announce that a new representative has filled a vacancy for the Intertribal Emergency Management Coalition, which further strengthens the expertise available to our team there. Next slide, please. The PSAC and the Tribal Advisory Group, or the TAG, will continue to follow their respective bi-monthly, monthly meeting cadences, as well as host ad hoc working group meetings as needed. We're standing up 2 working groups, one to recommend best practices for engaging public safety-facing information technology offices and officers, and a second to develop updated materials to facilitate productive engagement on site planning. That's one of the things that we heard back from both the authority and from AT&T or our FirstNet partner, that a lot of the lease arrangements seem to be getting held up or being in a holding pattern is very slow. So we're working with a lot of our government folks on the PSAC to see if we can come up with best practices to kind of speed up some of those processes. Over the coming months, we will collaborate with the FirstNet Authority on investment issues related to coverage enhancement and network evolution. Operationally focused PSAC members have engaged and will continue to engage with the FirstNet Authority's innovation and investment team to provide specific feedback and input on various topics there. We will continue our work with the Tribal Advisory Group, including conducting coverage enhancement workshops with them, and with a strictly tribal audience next month. If there are no other questions, that concludes my PSAC update, and I'll turn the floor back over to you, Chair.
Thank you, Chief Lombard. Any questions for Chief? Okay. At this time, we'll ask Chief Wolford, or the chair of the Advocacy Committee, to give us an update on the many going-ons of the Advocacy Committee.
Thank you. Good morning. We are going to do an update on fiscal year 2025 third quarter, and then also some highlights from recent engagements of our public safety folks. You can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So during the third quarter of fiscal year 2025, the team participated in over 300 engagements. That is reaching more than 11,000 stakeholders in 51 states, territories, and federal agencies, along with our tribal communities. We hosted 3 public safety tours in Boulder with a total of 15 visitors. This number may seem low, but that is because we are doing upgrades to the facility, and there were certain times throughout the quarter where we could not accept visitors. So through numerous other engagements, we received nearly 300 items of feedback from our public safety community. Feedback is normally happening in categories of operational needs, capability gaps, and then some FirstNet user cases. So through all that direct feedback, we continue to see a very common theme of coverage and reliability, both of which are extremely important to this group and certainly to our public safety community. So the team will go out and they'll capture everything that is successful when implementing cell phone booster pros, talk about specific coverage needs, and then through their coverage enhancement workshops, they will receive additional feedback. Because reliability is so important and such a persistent topic, the team has captured some positive feedback about the network reliability during hurricane and other natural disasters. So through targeted discussions at our 5x5 conference in Washington, stakeholders were able to express satisfactions in the FirstNet central enhancements, and then they also help us identify any additional needs. So there is a daily use and adoption of FirstNet devices, our high power user equipment, and then again, stakeholders are weighing in and providing, any type of enhancements we can do and any type of feedback. While we're doing that, simultaneously, there are also public safety enhancement highlights that happen through all types of engagements. In June, we hosted the 5x5 conference that I spoke of in Bellevue, and beautiful weather. I think probably the best weather we have seen in Washington State, but it was a fantastic conference. We hosted and coordinated 47 breakout sessions, a lot of deep dive discussions, and then a lot of that was, from coverage to unmanned aerial systems, location-based services, covering a vast amount of topics. The venue had 60 technology demonstrations from different industries, academia, public safety organizations, and then overview of cutting-edge technology. Many distinguished leaders throughout the country were in attendance, and specifically our public safety partners were in attendance with us. We also attended APCO, the premier event for 911 professionals, along with public safety communications. This was close to my hometown in Baltimore, Maryland. And this is a great opportunity for us to host sessions, 12 different sessions throughout the conference. And then again, any opportunity that we can give to our public safety folks to engage in these topics, lessons learned, all types of responses, and anything that our public safety folks can bring back to us in fruitful discussions along with their leadership and then the stakeholders. So we continue to be out and engaged and trying to learn from as many of our public safety partners. I do know that we had a board member in attendance and on the APCO for the 911 profession along with public safety. So I'll turn that over if Eric would like to provide any comments to our APCO visitors.
Thank you, Chief. Yes, I thought the conference was extremely well attended. There were literally several thousand people there. One of the recurring themes that I heard in both talking to APCO professionals who were attending the conference and listening to the presentations was of the reliability of FirstNet and the serviceability that it provided to 911 professionals. And I thought that our participation there came off extremely well with our booth and the proximity also to the folks at the 911 or the AT&T booth as well. I thought the synergy there was excellent.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Since we're doing a cross-country tour, we've been to Washington State on our West Coast. We've hit Baltimore, Maryland. We're going to go south and head to Orlando, Florida, where a conference near and dear to my heart, International Association of Fire Chiefs, hosted their Fire Rescue International, and CEO Mike Cannon delivered the FirstNet Authority update to the board. So thank you, sir. We appreciate you attending our board meeting and providing that update. There was also a lot of engagement with fire and EMS service leaders who come from across the nation and internationally. So it's nice to be able to engage from the authority along with our public safety figures. There were lots of targeted focus groups and then also feedback from many of our public safety members. So I know that there is really a great aspect of being able to engage with such a large industry. It is listed as International Association of Fire Chiefs, but we represent almost 15,000 fire EMS. The discipline is very wide because I was there at that conference. The showing of the FirstNet Authority and the engagement level, the collaboration is just really fantastic. It's definitely a friendship partnership and not just a working relationship. So the trust that has been built in that community that I can see is really quite fantastic.
And we certainly want to congratulate Chief Wolford on being elected president of the National Association of Fire Chiefs. So
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was a productive and a fun week. So I'm going to run through some recent events. There's some great photos on the screen here of some of our recent events. Again, continuing the tour, we'll go back north from Florida and we're going to end up in North Carolina and South Carolina. I was honored to be able to meet with U.S. Representative Richard Hudson, along with Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Communications and Technology, Ariel Roth, and her team. We all converged in North Carolina to speak with members of the North Carolina 911 Board, Alamance County Office of Emergency Management, also Alamance County Chamber of Commerce, FirstNet Authority, AT&T. This was a really nice, I'll just call it groundbreaking event for infrastructure upgrades to the cell tower sites throughout Alamance County. So it was definitely a celebration. We were there all afternoon and really had a great time just engaging with those folks. And of course, we met at a local fire station, so we got lots of great feedback from our fire and EMS personnel who are just wonderful hosts to everyone. U.S. Senator Ted Budd joined representatives from Swain County 911, the North Carolina 911 Board, FirstNet Authority, and AT&T to have a different celebration, but of a similar kind. And this is the cell site delivering improved connectivity in Bryson City, and then rural Swain County. This is something that Sheriff Atkinson, I believe you attended. I'm sure a successful event. Any thoughts?
No, it was outstanding. We were lucky enough that Executive Director Cannon and Tom Schultz were able to attend as well. We had great conversation with the 911 folks, with Senator Budd, his office. It was interesting that this tower was, really in a remote location, tough location to get to. And it just shows the capabilities of people dedicated to bringing enhanced coverage to places that are difficult. They're difficult to get to. And I thought they did an excellent job. It was a great partnership, and it was important to get that feedback from our local partners as well, too. So, Mike, did you have any thoughts about it?
No, I agree. It was a wonderful trip. A lot of good back and forth with the locals there and the senator, and I think very worthwhile. And again, this tower was in a very, very remote area. It was amazing they were able to get it up there, but that's what you do. People are committed to a mission. So yeah,
I will tell you, I told the senator that he could send me some Zillow listings. It's not a bad look up.
Well, I would say we felt the same at our location, just the work they were doing to make sure that those first responders had communications and had the capabilities. So very focused and very successful. We have one more engagement, and this is U.S. Representative Russell Fry, representatives from Marion County Sheriff's Office, FirstNet Authority, and AT&T to celebrate 5G wireless infrastructure upgrades on cell phone sites in Marion County. And Dr. Darcy, you attended that also. If you
I did. Near to my heart, rural part of South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Sheriff Wallace was a great host. Representative Fry made some comments that I think are important. This network is public-private partnership, under budget and on time. And I think that was something he echoed multiple times, and how important it is for us to give these guys some education. And I got great feedback from Sheriff Wallace, positive and negative, both of which have been sent up the chain. So thank you for allowing me to go and allowing me to talk about it.
Two great phrases, under budget and on time. I love both of those. We'll move to coverage enhancement workshops, and a beautiful diagram up there on the screen, illustration. Successfully conducted 30 coverage workshops, and they're traditionally, these are being conducted throughout the week, and these are for our stakeholders to be able to engage, to be able to talk about the level of detail of coverage, prioritizing input. This is really great for some of our local folks that thankfully don't have to think about coverage because they know it's happening. But this is a great way to be able to get updates. There are another 14 scheduled, and of course, we're working in all the states. So you can see, for those of you that are online, there's some color coding there. States colored gray on the map are scheduled within the calendar year. And the workshops are just another way that we collect feedback, and then we're able to answer questions and engage with our public safety folks to see what their needs are and to make sure we're meeting their needs. So all of this is using well-researched data and guidance from public safety. FirstNet Authority will then make strategic investments based on what we can learn from a lot of these coverage enhancement workshops. As a result, cell phone sites are being built across the nation, things that we're seeing when we're out doing our engagements, North Carolina, South Carolina. So all of this is to provide reliable coverage and be able to enable public safety to achieve its mission. This goes back to my previous key points when we talk about reliability and coverage are king, and these are the things that we will continue to stay focused on. I do want to say a quick thank you to Brad and the team for the support for the advocacy committee and the continued work that comes with the coverage enhancement workshops, which comes with public safety engagements, all of the information that the board needs to really get out there and connect with public safety officials. Acting Chair Atkinson, I have nothing further unless you have questions for me.
No, Chief, it's quite a lot of ground covered, liberally and figuratively. So now Finance Committee report, Sean McDevitt. Sean.
Thank you, Sheriff. It's great to be with everyone today. Thank you. During the past 11 months of the fiscal year 2025, the authority has obligated a cumulative total of $76 million. This is well within the forecast parameters of our fiscal year 2025 budget. As you can see from the chart, this continues a year-long trend of being, of being consistently under budget. The board and the FirstNet Authority remain laser focused on ensuring that the delivery of this network provides maximum benefit for public safety entities that rely on the nation's public safety broadband network for all of their mission critical voice and data needs. The authority continues to be very financially prudent and fiscally responsible with the operational funds so that the maximum amount of financial resources we have can be reinvested back into the network to expand coverage and to evolve the technology. This concludes the Finance and Investment Committee report. Thank you.
Sure. You know, the most important thing about your report is you know where our money's at. Everything else is secondary. Right?
It's all good.
Now I'll turn it over to Future Programs and Planning Committee Chair Rashid Scarlett. Rashid.
All right. Thank you. Next slide, please. All right. We've continued to see strong momentum in the evolution of the FirstNet network through investments and other projects. And as the chair of this committee, I'm encouraged by the progress we're seeing and deeply grateful for the contributions of our exceptional committee team members, members of the board, and AT&T. And as we work to maintain our strong trajectory. So on the screen or wherever you're looking on your papers, we're going to actually walk through each of these bullets because these are a few focus areas that the committee is working on, and I want to talk through each of them. So as it relates to adoption and usage, we recently saw the network surpass 7.5 million connections as public safety's adoption and use of the network steadily grows. This milestone reflects the confidence first responders have in FirstNet's capability. And as Chief Wolford previously mentioned, the network continues to engage public safety through coverage enhancement workshops to discuss identified areas of coverage needed with public safety. Their feedback is critical as we determine coverage investments for new site builds. Our efforts have included border, rural, and tribal areas in the states as well as in the territories. AT&T has delivered 1,000 new site builds 9 months ahead of schedule, all with Band 14 as the first phase of our overall coverage enhancements. This achievement demonstrates our commitment to expanding reliable coverage where public safety needs it most. Our in-building program has funded the deployment of thousands of in-building solutions since June 2022 at no cost to public safety. Indoor coverage is always a challenge. Public safety had identified the need for the better network access where they work and operate, and we listened. As we continue to evaluate and incorporate emerging technologies, we're upgrading our deployable fleet to 5G and adding LEO backhaul to our deployable assets like SatColts and COWs. Additionally, we're working to finalize our investment to enable the FirstNet network to support satellite-to-device technologies. This LEO integration represents a significant step toward our goal of truly seamless nationwide coverage, particularly in remote and rural areas where traditional infrastructure faces challenges. The team continues to work together as we prepare the launch of our new 5G standalone core, keeping FirstNet at the forefront of modern technology, but only after proper vetting and testing of the technology. The team continues to look at ongoing enhancements to FirstNet Central, building on our recent investments and enhancements that were delivered earlier this year based on public safety feedback. As it relates to mission critical, the team is keeping a close focus on our ongoing mission critical product developments as public safety's interest and usage continue to grow. And despite the luck we've had early in the season, our partners at AT&T are mobilizing and staging assets in preparation for hurricanes. Last year's requests were fulfilled responding to several hurricanes, such as Helene and Milton. FirstNet deployables were on site this summer supporting our first responders' communications in the South Central Texas response to devastating floods along the Guadalupe River. In addition to deployables, the FirstNet team stood up additional network capacity, including a rapid macro site deployment to support long-term public safety operations. Consistent with prior seasons, our response operations groups also continue to connect state and local public safety responding to wildfires such as the Rattlesnake Fire, which has burned over 17,000 acres in Washington state, and the Dollar Lake Fire in Wyoming. which has burned more than 13,000 acres in the Green River Lakes area of the Bridger-Teton National Forest. We continue to represent the voice of public safety in 3GPP standards, activities, meeting with international partners, and participating in important discussions like the early stages of 6G standards. As it relates to innovation trials, we're always searching for better ways to meet public safety's communications needs. The team is looking at potential investment opportunities from our recently completed maritime and air-to-ground trials and starting new trials looking at ways we can leverage AI for various public safety use cases. Additionally, the team is looking at ways to continue to innovate with our deployable form factors. So as committee chair, I prioritize not only hearing about the NPSBN successes, but learning about how we are measuring them. Our committee, with leadership and input from Jocelyn Moore, Alexandria Fernandez Navarro, Sean McDevitt, Billy Bob Brown Jr., Warren Mickens, and Eric Gall, have been committed on a series of briefings and dashboards to better visualize the trend the performance of the network, set expectations of success, and look at key ways of performance indicators and metrics to ensure that public safety has the best and most consistent performance possible in the nationwide mobile network. We've seen great progress over these past few months, and I look forward to continued momentum as we look ahead.
Thank you. At this point, I'm going to ask Executive Director Mike Cannon to go ahead and give us his brief. But I want to say again, thank you to our committee chairs for taking the time for doing this work and to present this out here this morning. Mike.
Thank you, Sheriff. This is our last board meeting of the fiscal year. And I wanted to close it out by thanking our outgoing acting board chair, Renee Gordon, who recently departed the board following the completion of her 3-year term. As the director of the City of Alexandria's Department of Emergency and Customer Communications, Renee is an innovative FirstNet user herself and brought an important perspective to the board and leadership. We thank her and wish her the best of luck. To the board, I want to thank you all for joining us here in Reston at our headquarters this week. And we've had a productive and collaborative few days. And I look forward to continuing to work with the board to shape the future of FirstNet. I also want to thank you all for approving our budget at last month's special board meeting. The FirstNet Authority management team and staff are ready to hit the ground running on day one of fiscal year 2026. This year, the FirstNet network was widely used across the country in response to weather events, all type of emergencies, as well as planned events. And our staff worked closely with public safety throughout the year. We heard some great updates today on the success of our coverage workshops in the field and with public safety. Getting their feedback will be a key priority going forward. Also, the FirstNet Authority has been addressing the recent reports from the Office of Inspector General and taking these findings very seriously. Both NTIA and the FirstNet Authority have already taken corrective actions to address the issues identified in the report. We appreciate the OIG's continued oversight over the FirstNet Authority and the nationwide public safety broadband network. As we begin the new fiscal year, I'm confident that we will continue to accomplish much on behalf of public safety. The FirstNet Authority will continue to drive the needle forward, innovating and evolving the network so it meets public safety's needs. Thank you again. I look forward to the months going ahead. I'll turn it back over to you, Sheriff.
Thank you, sir. Any comments for the good of the order before we make a move to adjourn as we get close to the end of the meeting here? If not, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
This is Board Member Fernandez Navarro. I move to adjourn.
Second.
Jeffrey Norman, I second that motion.
Outstanding. All in favor?
Aye.
Like sign? Being none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.